Copenhagen, the land of bicycles, designer furniture, and of course, Lego. Yes, Denmark's proudest export after bacon and drivers who sometimes always find grip in the wet. Copenhagen is a city where the traffic lights are polite, the pastries are elite, and the only thing faster than the Wi-Fi is someone trying to beat you to a delicious cinnamon roll. But that's in the north of Denmark, and we right now are in the south, right on that windy, breezy, sunny coastline of southern Denmark. We're here at the Rødby karting ring, ready for what is set to be an enthralling day of Superheats and finals. Year of opening 1972. In 2013, it was demolished and moved 500 meters further down the road, where it was then put in this place right here. Event record, well, that time has now been updated. Roman Cambiab went even faster in his last race yesterday with a 49.8. And I think there was even other drivers who joined him on those times, but very quick time set over the course of this weekend. The track itself, though, a fabulous venue, 1,245 metres, 200 metres down the start-finish straight, 135 metres down the infill straight. It's around 8 metres wide, 3 metres of elevation change because the turn tip very highly cambered. They dip down and increase uphill quite some way. Turns, there are 11 of them, 7 to the right, 4 to the left, and 5 hairpins out there. Each and every one of those corners provides its own challenges, but most of them provide overtaking opportunities. We see them in towards turns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, and 11. I might as well just say all the corner names because you can't really get away from anyone out there. Any chance for an overtake, you can do it in any one of those corners. Top speed as well, drivers will be reaching a dizzying 122 kilometers an hour in towards turn number 1. They average around 90 across the entire lap. It is a fast circuit. It is open for overtakes. It is open for some really close racing. And we have already seen some close racing this weekend, Andrew, because, well, we had a really busy day yesterday in those qualifying heats, but today will be a new one. Hello, everyone. Myself, Andrew Jordan, Andrew Mather, with me as well. Andrew, we're looking forward to today.
We are. It's going to be a very, very high quality day of racing where anything could happen. The sun is out for us here at the circuit as well. The track very grippy this morning as well. Speaking to some of the drivers, I think we're going to see even more quick lap times today during these Superheats and finals versus what we saw yesterday afternoon. We will start, of course, with OK Junior. Superheat 1, half of the drivers who have qualified through to the top 72. Their attention now turns to the top 36. Can they make it through to the final? They've got 13 laps to sort themselves out over this one. There is the sights over all of the nation's flags represented here this weekend. And you can see it's quite a strong breeze across the circuit once again here at Rødby, Denmark, pretty much coming straight off the sea. And there is our pole sitter from the heats yesterday. What a performance by Bosco Arias. Really has turned his season around this weekend. 5 from 5, currently unbeaten in race trim.
And it was an outright pole as well in time qualifying, so certainly a driver to keep an eye on over the course of today, possibly one of the favourites going into those finals. But, of course, today is a very busy day. And for these drivers, it's, like you say, another very busy schedule. Michael McGoy as well from the USA on the front row of the grid really has impressed me this weekend, has the Koski Motorsport driver. Never been outside of the top 5. After he qualified 13th overall, he has found himself on the front row for Superheat A in the junior category. A brilliant show of skill out there this weekend. But like you say, the front row is one thing, the second row is another. And coming into this second row, William Kalesia, who came into this weekend championship leader, is on the cusp of this one. 5th in qualifying, 2 qualifying heat wins, but he's on that second row. And he's joined by another new name at this sharp end, Gianni Girardello, who we've not seen fighting at this sharp end of the field so far this season, is right there on that second row in P4. As the engines fire up for the first race of the day, the field will head out onto the circuit. Let's quickly fire you through that full starting lineup. It is Bosco Arias and Michael McGoy on row number 1, William Collegia and Gianni Giovinello on row number 2. Turner Brown, who took a win in his first race yesterday, starts this one on the third row of the grid. He'll be joined by Henry Domain, who's still searching for that first win on track. Row number 4 sees Daniel Miron. There we'll have Will Green alongside on row number 4, Giacomo Justo, and Dean Hugendorn is the only driver in this grid who has got a fresh set of tyres on the left-hand side. Andrea Manni and Benjamin Magnac go from row number 7. They'll have Dan Alleman and Ludwig Granqvist on row 7. Jean-Matteo Rousseau and Antonio Pettonia on row number 8. Roland Nagy will be all on his own on row number 9 because the cheeky lad himself, Denny Babacek, has got himself a ticket to the Spa Grand Prix.
Yeah, so won't race today, won't make it through to the top 36. These drivers might do though. Row 10, Ludovico Mazzola and Alessandro Truchot start on row 10. Sebastian Escondari and Manny Nuvolini go from 11. Manuel Miguez and Emiliano Hernandez on 12. Matteo Rivals and Enya Pizzuto. These kind of drivers, if they can have a big superheat performance here, could still make it through to the final. They start on row 13. Now we get into the field of drivers who have got more of a long shot of making it through. They need a small miracle out there. Victor Stahlmach and Angelina Simmons-Torres on row 14. Wen Yubo and David Dudkovsky on row 15. Gustavo da Silva and Adam Anderson on row 16, Alexander Lazarus and Magnus Merck on row 17. The last of the 36 drivers in this field, row 18, Mikael Rönitz and Henry Constant Kumpin. Just a quick review as well of who has not made it through. Is there? We have a look at our team in race control. Joanna Falcao in the centre, flanked by David Manchester and Sam Fisher. Their eyes will be across everything happening around this this circuit with the great bank of cameras that they have at their disposal. As we say, we have lost a load of drivers who did not qualify through to the top 72, those including Hampus Homburg, Amelia Vishmerska, Sanchez, Rasmus, Benant, Gallas, Oliver, all not making it through. More drivers as well didn't make it through, but we are ready for racing here. Are we lights out this time? Yes, we are. Superheats underway then in OK Junior. Very aggressive start once again for this 13-lap race. But it's Bosco Arias who's got the early advantage. Championship leader William Collegia, who's had his championship points lead trimmed a bit. Is that Henry Domain off in the background? Back on circuit now, but has lost a huge number of positions there. Another driver out wide onto the grass. Was it one of the Birol ARTs perhaps running wide? Might have been a Parolin instead of Bruno Blanco in the number 82. But as expected, Anthony, very aggressive start in a superheat. At this stage of the weekend, you have one option only in this this kind of race. You have to attack.
Yeah, indeed. I think Ludovico Mazzola may have had some drama out there. He has not come through on this lap, so we'll keep a close eye on that one. But look at this already. Huge breakaway for Bosco Arias, completing what he had done yesterday in these early stages. He's having an absolutely enthralling one right now, but he's got the chasing pack of 4 that is now going to be led by William Collegia as he sends it down the inside. The other Ricky Flynn as well of Turner Brown has got up into 3rd place. That has put Girardello down to P4. And they are joined by Michael McGoy just behind. But as soon as that overtake has happened, we'll see another one as off the circuit there. And going no further whatsoever in this race is Ludovico Mazzola. We thought he had an issue, and it's confirmed. He's off the track and out of this race. Albeit now, well, these drivers are all scrambling for 2nd place. Arias is breaking away at the front.
Yeah, this is good stuff for Bosco. Arias doesn't actually need to win this race by my calculations to secure pole position for the final later on this afternoon. Remember, it is a bigger haul of points, a wider spread, a distribution of points in these superheats. 90 intermediate points instead of the 50 from yesterday. As there, now that looked again like there was a yellow flag out at Marshall Post 2, and there's some very close racing going on between McGoy, Girardello and Collegia. Collegia now back down the inside, retakes 4th place away from Michael McGoy, points forward, says to the American, let's work together, let's try and deal with Girardello. That was a bit of a defensive line though from Collegia, very wide entry into the hairpin of turn number 7. We had a little bit of a track walk this morning, didn't we, mate? And this is where we see a lot of the overtakes as well. McGoy and Kalija off the road there, gets back on it, and through will come Hugendorn and Will Green, championship leader. Isn't in any kind of threat of not making the final here, but is definitely having a bit of a hard time in this Superheats.
Yeah, indeed. And again, he's got to think about championship. He is in the lead of that, of course, but it's at a very vital stage of the season with only one major point-scoring round to go, of course, when we head to Kristianstad for the 5th and final round of this championship. But right now, they will stay focused. Down the inside there, changes. I think that's Kalija trying to fight his way back now through the field, but seemingly, yeah, very dramatic start for them. But yeah, like we were saying, when we did that track walk, it is so open for overtakes. It's so difficult to, I think, defend on this circuit. It's all about track positioning, but you don't want to be white lining it all the way throughout because you're going to lose so much time on the rest of the field, and that is what we have seen as down the inside, wasting no time there whatsoever. That is Andrea Mani on Justo, moving up into 9th place.
Nice move there from the Italian. Nice and, sorry, not from Italy, it's from Monaco, but let's have a look further back in the field. What's happening here? Now that's quite a nasty moment. That was how we lost the number 62 of Ludovico Mazzola. Damage to the kart, and hope he's okay. This was the moment for Kalija. Yeah, bit of a contact there with Michael McGoy. Once again, Kalija doing very, very well to get the karts back onto circuit. Here's your battle for 5th place. Dean Hugendorn and Will Green going toe-to-toe. Two Williams Academy drivers going up against one another here. You can see the big W on the side of Dean Hugendorn's Prema Racing prepared machine. Very equal machinery, of course, both of them on Kart Republic chassis. And Will Green, who stepped up into the junior level of karting over the 2024 to 2025 break, has impressed a lot of people this year.
Yeah, it certainly has. And we'll keep a close eye on that progression. Oh, I love the exit of that turn there. They really utilised that exit curve out of turn number 4. They climb up the hill. It's quite steep there as they go in towards turn 5. But no drama for them right now. Exit out of 7, through the kink of 8, up into the major hairpin here, the major banking of turn at number 9. No change between these two as they stay in formation. Eyes on this one, though, for Will Green. Needs to get the wiggle on this one. Like you say, has had those ups and downs, has been having those good results, though. Like you say, 10th in qualifying, but has had results outside of the top 10. Has not dipped below 5th place in this one. So again, a P6 here now is not going to put him in a bad spot. He's still going to be in a good spot for the final. But he's not shown that aggression that we usually see from Green, where he fights up at that sharp end.
Maybe he's saving it for the final.
Maybe he's saving it for the final. I think it's a good strategy for him to do so. I mean, this track is so open. I think he's been testing a lot with how he can position his way on this circuit. But yeah, no, really looking forward to seeing what he can do in that final.
So front of the field is very much in a rhythm. Who is on a bit of a hero's drive and potentially going through? I'm going to highlight Sebastian Eskandari, one of the drivers just outside the top 36 overnight, up 6 places in this race. Manny Nuvolini has followed through as well. So the Mercedes Formula 1 Junior could, with this kind of drive, be just squeezing through into that top 36 after these 2 Superheats. Remember, the intermediate points from yesterday and Thursday's heats, they carry over into this one.
Oh dear!
Pitsonia Junior round and facing the wrong way. There was another driver involved there, and that could be a driver going the other way.
It's Giacomo Giusto as well, the 77. That is also tumbling down the order. They were next to each other on the track, and I think the two have just come together, the Parolin and the Tony Kart, tumbling to the back of the order.
Justo should have enough margin to stay in the top 36. I don't think Pitsonia Jr. will, though. There is a move for 3rd place. Michael McGoy has got past Jolie Girardello there. Nice move once again from the American, and this is the risk with a superheat. If you have a bad superheat and you're in that danger zone around row 7, row 8, row 9 at the start of them, all you have to do is lose 5 or 6 positions in these races, and that can tip the balance enough. With Pitsonia now down P33, that is not good news for the driver flying the flag for Italy, of course, family from Brazil, the Pizzonia family. Meanwhile, battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th here. This is a good scrap. William Kalesia will be looking to try and make some positions up here. He has seen his championship points lead trimmed a little bit overnight. He's still got a good advantage over the rest. Hugendorn down the inside of Girardello there. Nice overtake for 4th.
Yeah, indeed. Utilising those fresh tyres on the left-hand side, saving them all the way to this superheat. Didn't deploy them at all yesterday. So that's a really strong performance that Hugendorn has had. And like you say, just since he started this race on the 5th row of the grid, he's had a tough weekend. But like you say, he's been playing the long game so far. And for the Williams junior driver, certainly showcasing some good skill here and holding firm now in 4th place. Aleman with the fastest lap of the race, though. He's currently circulating in 11th place behind Jean-Matteo Rousseau, showcasing that once again the pace is fast throughout the field.
Dan Aleman doing it more than enough here at the moment to secure his place in the final, starting on the 7th row of the grid, so it's inside that zone for the cut-off overnight, and he's gone forward. That is a good bit of news for the winner last time out in Viterbo. 10 laps down, 3 to go. We're now into uncharted racing territory for these drivers. All of their qualifying heats over the last 2 days were 10 laps. Have they got the longevity in this superheat to get through to the end of this race? Keep an eye on the number 37 of Benjamin Magnac there, the second of the Forzas in this train, continuing to grow and grow and grow. Has raced up through the levels of karting, has settled in here with the Forza Racing squad. He's been having a good weekend so far.
Yep, certainly has, and really pushing his way forward here, but he's got the likes of Girardello there. Can he try and squeeze past in this recovery drive he's effectively on right now? And yes, he can. Down the inside, through the final corner. Can his teammate do the same? Benjamin Magnac right there in tow, and the 3 of them right now absolutely line astern through turns number 1 and 2. But Magnac not able to find his way past just yet. Green could capitalise here with any changes within this order right in front of him. Time quickly running out, of course, for the juniors. This is their longest race of the weekend so far. Big move down the inside. Beautifully done, Magnac up into 6th place and utilising once again the highly cambered turns here and those wide entries into those corners.
Benjamin Magnac not out of a possibility here of scoring his first Champions of the Future championship points so far this season. He was 23rd, I think, overnight. So a big drive here. Maybe a bit of bad luck for the other half of the field in Superheat B. Could still sneak into the top 15 once all the points intermediates-wise are tallied up. Girardello's not given this position up, though, for 6th spot. Magnac having to work really, really hard on defence. Will Green trying to go around the outside. Is this going to be a switchback from the Williams Junior? Oh, it nearly worked. Girardello back down the inside. Another switchback from Will Green, but Girardello closes the door. Great racing once again. This is what we love as neutrals in the box, isn't it, Anthony, about this Rødby circuit? Because there are so many opportunities to not just attack, but counter-attack as well.
Yeah, indeed. They have pushed so hard over the course, and now he's just saying, right, come on, go. Don't defend now, because, well, there's only half a lap to go. You're not really going to benefit. This young man will, though. Bosco Arias of Spain continues that trend across the line. Cool, calm, and composed is the young Spaniard. Bosco Arias is on a perfect streak right now and will start on pole position for the final later today. Make sure you do not miss that one. He cannot be beaten now. Turner Brown, 2nd place, some 1.3 seconds further down the road from Michael McGoy. Dean Hugendorn, a 6th place gain, puts him in P4 ahead of William Kalesia. Benjamin Magnac in P6 ahead of Gianni Girardello. Will Green from Jean-Matteo Rousseau. Dan Aleman rounding out the top 10, all of them gaining positions. A solid drive from the field as we look at the full classification there on your screen. Andrea Mani does finish in 11th place, ahead of Sebastian Eskandari, Ludwig Grankvist, Ron Manuel Miguez, and Mateo Rivals rounding out the top 15 with a 10-place gain. Miguez with 9, and Eskandari also with a 9-place gain in that race. P16 will see Manny Nuvolini on a 6th-place gain ahead of Emiliano Hernandez. Alessandro Tuchot finishing in 18th place ahead of Roland Nagy. Henry Domain, probably not the race he would have wanted there for the Forza Racing driver. 20th place on a deficit of 14 places, but he's still in a good spot, and I suspect we will see him in that final. Gustavo da Silva finishing in 21st place, 10th-place gain ahead of Henry Constant Cooper with 14th-place gained. Magnus Mursch finishing in 23rd with an 11th-place gain ahead of Anderson. Then it's Miron from Runitz, then from Pezzuto, Lazarus from Dukowski, and Stalmack rounding out the 31 finishers in that race. Giacomo Giusto, Antonio Pettonia, Angelina Simmons and Ludovica Mazzola not finishing the race. And, of course, the one non-starter, Denny Babacek, not seeing the start of that race. The look at the highlights, though, from that one, well, cool, calm and collected for the Spaniard. No drama there whatsoever at the start. An aggressive start from the outside row there, all sweeping in to try and get a gap on the inside. Incredible scene. And thankfully, no major contact right at the start of that one. Right at the beginning, there the Forza Racing driver, Henry Domain, squeezed out and out of contention. There was the, I think, the 62 of Ludovico Mazzola, who had gone down the order. I think he missed the timing beam there, which is why it looked like he had the drama. And then later on had definitely more drama, where unfortunately he was caught out with, I believe, Angelina Simmons and a couple more at the exits of turn number 3. Eyes on the top runners there. Bosco Arias able to break away. This was the moment. You can just see as they're going in. Yeah, several carts into one. A big damage there to another, I think, a chain guard coming off one. And for Ludovico Mazzola, that is a hefty old whack there, and hopefully he is okay after that moment. Arias breaking away at that point. Brown, McGoy, Kalija, Magnac all fighting in that top session. There you can see Gianni Girardello as well trying to hold on to 3rd place. Brown managed to get through. He was held on to 3rd place for quite some time. This moment here, Kalija having to fight back through the field, getting passed by Hugendorf, getting passed by Will Green. He would later recover back and finish in P5. There was the moment, unfortunately, for Giacomo Giusto and Antonio Pettonia. A very risky spot to come off the track, facing the wrong way, but crucially okay, but out of the race and potentially out of the weekend with that spin as he started on the 8th row of the grid, very close to that cutoff area. Hugendorf continuing that charge, the same as drivers behind. You saw Benjamin Magnac trying to follow his teammate William Kalija. Ended up being quite a helping hand there in that race as Kalija got past Girardello. Magnac later on in the lap, also managing to get the same move. Will Green later on trying to get the 2 for 1 here. Nice little switch back here. Had the momentum, didn't have the track position though. Unfortunately got squeezed out wide on the exit of turn number 4 as they climbed the hill. Couldn't find the pace to get that kart down the inside. But for Bosco Arias, for Ricky Flynn Motorsports, it's a 1-2, and their man will head to the final with maximum points collected so far this weekend, and of course that pole position for the final. Let's head down to Parc Fermé and to Andrew Mather.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Well, he's here again. Bosco Arias, 6 from 6 now in terms of race victories this weekend. Talk me through the start. That looks a little bit tricky.
Yeah, wow, too much interviews this weekend. Hopefully I get another in the final. But like I say, we really have the pace. We look very strong this weekend, so we have to give everything in the final.
It's a little bit cooler, though. Are you worried about the weather ahead of the final?
I think the weather is going to be almost the same. The track is not with a lot of grip, so that's good for us.
Good stuff, Bosco. I'll let you get ready for the final. Thanks for joining us. Good stuff down here for OK Junior. That's pole decided for the final, but more racing to come in these Superheats. Anthony, back up to you.
Thank you very much, Andrew, down there in Parc Ferme. And yeah, rightly said for Bosco Arias. Far too many interviews for him at this moment. But yeah, he's hoping for that extra one later on. Seniors coming up next. Superheats 1 heading out onto the circuit in a few moments' time. And can confirm a few drivers in this with some drama. We're not going to be seeing a couple of drivers in this one. And we've got a few new tyres on board on this one, but we'll go over that as and when we get to it. But this one will have Thomas Brodier on the front row of the grid for the first time this season. On pole position for Superheat 1 in 2025 of the Champions of the Future. And let's quickly fire you through that full starting lineup. It is Thomas Brodier and Roman Kamyab on row number 1, Thibaut Ramekers and Daniel Kelleher on row 2. Noah Wolf and Joe Turney go from row number 3. They'll have Emily Covisto and Marco Gast on row number 4. Boris Leisen and Oliver Kinmark on row 5. They'll have Vladimir Vanikov and Christian Kostoya coming championship leader into this weekend, starting all the way in P12. Toby Gale and Gino Rocchio on row number 7. They'll have Jara Pokola and Jacob Mikolev, who's gone for a brand new set of tyres on the left-hand side. Ellie Kaczynski and Clark Wolczyk lock out row number 9. They'll have Bolowet and Sebastian Mins on row 10. Row 11, we'll see Aston Sharp and Zach Green. Sharp with also a brand new set on the left-hand side. Victor Gustafsson and Ella Hakkinen go from row number 12. They'll have Scott Marsh and Clovis Nougarade on row 13. Paul Andriotis will be all on his own on row number 14 as Chiara Batig not going out in this Superheat, which is very unfortunate. She will not make the final. Row 15 will be Vengar Clementon and Maria Neto. Row 16 will only see Jagrat Tkoja. Vanessa Shilkaneto of Lithuania also will not make the final. She is not on the grid for this race. Radek Vavra and Antonio Macedo go from row 17 with Francois Cadal and Stilianos Kolovos, who ran out the 36 drivers who made it in to the first round of the Superheats for a fair few drivers this weekend. Unfortunately, they did not make it through into this one. Unfortunately, Sana Z, Mats van Ruin, Marcus Juncher, Carl Luthard, Leif Manumna, unfortunately not making it. Narwin Natipaton not making it. Sadamat Soy, Lewis Francis, of course, with the injury he picked up, not being able to make it. Mathis Almer, Daniel Picorni and Sermine, unfortunately, all not making it to the end of their weekend. For the top 72, though, they have got a chance here. But remember, anyone who is just on that cut-off from about row 9, Klara Kowalczyk and Elliot Kaczynski, they are right on the cusp of this one. And their fight is necessary to push forward. For Aston Sharp, who's 21st, he's outside the cut-off here. But he has got those brand new tyres on board. He needs a good result for this one. Are we racing? Yes, we are. It's a good start for the field as they go through. Watch out for Kamyab. Round the outside. Can he take the lead round the long way round here? They are 2-3 wide as down the inside as Wolf goes round. And a huge pile up. And my goodness me, the track is completely blocked. And that could spell disaster for this field. It could spell disaster. I've got to think they've got to do something about that one. There's only a handful of marshals there. A lot of damaged carts. I can see out of my commentary box window they're trying to get it going. The race is still going right now, and it is still the likes of Thomas Brodier in the lead of this one. But it is still local yellows, but the track's completely blocked, and the field are heading there very, very soon. And now I think slow procedure has come out. I think they're going to try and slow them down before they get in towards turn number 1. They are. And they do slow down, and that is a big one because, yeah, multiple carts off there, Andrew, at turn number 3, and can you riddle them off for us?
Oh, I can indeed. There's going to be quite a few drivers whose weekends are over with this not circulating. Toby Gale, Joel Pokola, Elliot Kaczynski, Aston Sharp is out of this one. Zach Green, Victor Gustafsson, Ella Hakkinen, Scott Marsh. We go on. Paul Andriotis, Radek Vavra and Francois Cadal. That is a lot of drivers in that lower third of the grid. That is it. They are out of the weekend. There is Paul Andriotis' 3:06. Some of them have got going again in terms of their one allowed restart. There is the 2:64 on your screens. That's Vladimir Ivanikov out of this race. Now, Ivanikov should be okay to make it through. Yeah, started at 11th, so that'll be all right. He's got enough buffer. And of course, there's not going to be many drivers doing the hero drive through the order now, because so many of them in the second half of the field outside of the top 36 overnight are gone, are not circulating. Now let's have a look at what triggered this. So Wolf goes round. There's another spinner in the midfield, and then everybody else has nowhere to go. Someone lost a piece of bodywork as well in all of that. Wolf turned round again. This is the reverse angle of it, and there you see there's just nowhere to go for all of them. That's a real shame.
Yeah, that is a big, big shame indeed. It does narrow there on the apex, and unfortunately with these not having any clutches, as soon as you come to a stop, that's it. You're out. It's actually, you've got to push start it to get going again. Slow procedure coming out. I can imagine there'd been quite a few people there where they were hoping there'd been a stoppage to get a restart there, but that's not the case. If there no injuries there, the track cleared quite quickly actually by the track staff, and decision to keep the slow board out in the race going is an unfortunate one then for a lot of drivers. 36 starting the race, and it's now down to 22 after only one lap of racing. That is a big shame for them, and despite the fact that we're under slow procedure, I'm seeing purple sectors for Jack Ratatojo, who's currently in 22nd place, who I think is trying to close in to the drivers up ahead. But that's definitely a shaky start to the first senior qualifying heat there, Andrew. I can't believe that we've gone down to just 22 runners straight away in just this sort of stage under these slow procedures, because right now, you know, so many of those drivers, Aston Sharp, brand new tyres on board. Gone. Gone.
And this for me is why actually on this weekend, with how the track's been driving, I think using your fresh tyres and getting the almost boost out of them was better to do it yesterday. Bit too much riding on this superheat. There's other stories going on as well. Joe Turney, I think, got caught up in that now. Isn't out of the race, but is down to 15th. So that is a bit of a blow for Joe Turney. Yeah, Gustafsson, Scott Marsh there as well. That's going to be a busy. It's almost going to be a little bit of a mini drivers briefing room for Martin Bean with how many drivers are in that marshal post. But yes, Turney's down the order. Now, some drivers are going to get the flip side of this and actually benefit big time in terms of trying to break through. Bo Louette is going to be one of them. Bo Louette, who started on row 10 to the first of those rows outside of the top 36, he's up 10 places. Kolovos as well is up 19. Now, I think he's going to just simply be too far back in the intermediate classification to make it through. But you never know off the restart if Kolovos can keep going on, because they're all going to be bunched up together here as we go for another lap of slow procedure. What a drive it could be from the man from Greece. Could drive through. Similarly, Vegard Clementson up 11, Maria Neto up 11, Antonio Macedo up 14. So particularly for Neto and Vegard Clementson, they could still make it through potentially, because the points are greater in these superheats, not just in terms of absolute number, but spread as well. And also want to keep an eye on Sebastian Mins. Mins obviously had a moment yesterday in the last round of heats. He could get a bit of a reprieve here. He's up 6 places to 14th. I think that is all of your ones who are outside the top 36 overnight. And of course, we've got a battle at the front of the field as well. Tom Aprodier still in a position right now, Anthony, that would give him pole position for the final.
Certainly would. Right, are we going for a restart here? It certainly looks like we are. Lights are out. We're green flag and racing. Once again, it's a good start for Aprodier. He's caught the pack sleeping. Kamyab not able to attack in that early stage. Ramikas holds on to third place as Emilio Visto there holding off the attack from Oliver Kinmark, who stays in fourth place. Down the inside, Kamyab now attacks and gets the move down the inside at turn number 4, steps up into the lead, and the young Briton, who has certainly had a very good weekend so far, is continuing that trend in the superheats.
This is good stuff from Roman Kamyab. This is also good news if you are Kenzo Craigie watching this race, because if Aprodier falls down the order, that will open the opportunity to take pole position for the final later on today, and with it, some extra championship points, with which Craigie, as a championship contender, really, really needs. Change for fourth place. Kinmark has got through past Koivisto. Look at this scrap with Christian Costoya trying to fight through the order and up into the top 8. Danny Kelleher was involved in that as well. Here goes Ramikas down the inside. Ramikas for second place puts Aprodier down to third. Here is the scrap once again in the lower reaches of the top 10 as one of the victory lanes has a go at Jacob Mikulev. Jacob Mikulev, who actually at the moment is going to go through. What a turnaround it's been for the driver from Malta. 2 retirements on Thursday, a race win, bit of a middling performance in the 4th round, and then a good one in the 5th round. He has wrestled his way back into the top 36, and he's not done yet, getting past more drivers out there.
Yeah, that victory lane, Sebastian Mins trying to push his way through the order on this one. Not working out for him. He's lost out on a few places there. Big send down the inside once again. This is the likes of Jacob Mikulev pushing his way through now, up inside the top 10 and past Daniel Kelleher. Next target would be Kara Kowalczyk, but that is a little further up the road as the field now really starting to open out here. And now this is down the inside. Boris Lysen stepping through past Daniel Kelleher. And that's a big step up for Lysen right now. He is down still 2 places as Daniel Kelleher tries to force the move. And through goes, I think, is that Joe Turney? Yeah, Joe Turney capitalising massively on that one.
Well, Joe Turney might have his teammate to thank there for an easy 2-person overtake. Lysen's going to go down the inside again. This is on Bo Louet. Louet trying to race through into the top 36. Is one of those drivers outside the cutoff overnight, has benefited from the drama in the early stages of this race. And a big result here could result in him coming back as off the road is Wolf into the pit exit. A bit of a thumbs up there from Noah Wolf. What a dramatic race he's having. Wolf will be fine, by the way. Will still make it through as Lysen's on the attack again. Here comes one of the victory lanes. A CRG in there as well. It's nearly 4 wide off of turn 3. You can tell that this is the last chance for these drivers to break through into the final.
I say there's too much to call here right now. Clovis Nougared right in the middle of that one on that CRG as Vengard Clemenson trying to defend from the likes of Boris Lyden. Alex Macedo still there as well. Silianos Kolovas, who may have dropped down the order after he gained 19, as they go 3 wide, surely not in towards turn number 7, and it's not worked out at all. Daniel Kelleher on the outside of that 3 wide, and there's more drama. Sideways, Boris Lyden tries to bring it back on. He's a little further. That's Bo Louet who's gone off the track, and Bo Louet brings it back on right in front of the pack, but seemingly did get a corner there, but I don't think he meant to.
I'm not sure I'm watching a seniors race at the moment. This is feeling more like one of the younger categories right now, and we've still got 7 laps of this one to go. There's a nice move. That's the 241 of Kolovos down the inside, so he resumes this drive through the field that is now 21 positions gained. Wolf's back in play all of a sudden, despite having been spun round, taking an excursion, a bit of a rallycross joker lap into the pit lane. All sorts of stuff have happened for the young Briton in this one, but he knows if he can claw back some points here, he can still defend a slot on the grid, maybe in the first 5 or 6 rows. Meanwhile, Pradeer's come back. Pradeer's refound his pace, has got back up to 2nd place ahead of Ramakas. Ramakas is not happy about that. It's dropping him back into Kinmark and Koivisto right now. Is Ramakas going to go for the move? Of course, Timo Ramakas is going to go for the move. Great stuff from the Belgian, back up to 2nd place.
Yeah, indeed. Really good, strong drive here as they push through. But where is Kamyab? 1.7 seconds further up the road. The fight for 2nd has diminished their chances of fighting for P1 as now down the inside goes Kinmark. Kinmark gets through on Pradeer. Now Emilio Koivisto under pressure from Christian Kostoya, who we only saw at the sharp end in 1 race after he deployed fresh tyres. Right now, seemingly finding more pace in this Superheats.
This could be a really important drive for Christian Kostoya. It's what we've been talking about all week since that poor qualifying. Damage limitation, build up the momentum, be ready to take championship points in the final. To do that, he's got to get himself as high up the grid as possible for that final, and he's doing that. Great move down the inside of Pradeer, up to 4th place. This could be a championship-defining superheat for Christian Kostoya. He's not going to win it today. It's going to go all the way to Kristianstad, but he can have a big lead in the championship points. It's going to help his time in Sweden, but Pradeer's come back at him. Pradeer back up to 4th place. It's a tremendous scrap. Once again, another counter-attack. Kostoya goes for it. Here comes Marco Garst into play as well. The Danish home hero who's been rapid so far this week. Hasn't always had the best of luck. He's got an opportunity here in this Superheat to get another top 5.
Yeah, he's got the toe now. Might look in towards turn number 1. No, thinks against it. Maybe even into turn number 3. He has got some right pace there. Looks to the inside, gets his nose down the inside and moves up into now fourth place. Now pushing his way through nicely. Pradeer is under pressure, and it's gassed up to, P5, I should say, as they pushing through nicely. This one here, though, still looking interesting. Gino Rocchio, Jacob Mikolev, Karol Kowalczyk, and Emilio Covisto. Joe Turney at the back of that one as well. He's just eliminated now Emilio Covisto, and has stepped up into 10th place.
Turney needs a good few laps here. There's an opportunity to get all the way up to that 5th, 6th place region, which would be very, very useful in terms of championship. Pradeer goes back down the inside of Gast, retakes 5th place. For Turney, trying to defend his title, of course. 4th in the championship points overnight. He put a few more points on his tally through the 5 rounds of qualifying heats, but he needs something here from this Superheat as Gast once again goes back down the inside. Mikolev's going to look to the outside now. That will give Gino Rocchio an opportunity. Pradeer steps back down the inside. How many changes of position have we seen between these two? And it's not done yet as Gast is now trying to defend for both Karol Kowalczyk. Here comes Joe Turney as well. Turney gets through past Rocchio. Kowalczyk, great move down the inside. And look at Joe Turney. He's picking them off. He's picking the moments to go for the overtakes. He's not sent one yet on any of these drivers. This is brilliant racing positioning by Joe Turney. He's having everybody else do the hard work for him. He's just got to clear Karol Kowalczyk now, and here comes Joe Turney down the inside. Oh, what flew off there? One of the carts back up to 6th place. That is, if you are a young driver and you want to watch how to tackle big pack racing, watch those few laps from Joe Turney. Still keep watching it, because it'll come back here. Karol Kowalczyk back down to up to 6th place rather. This again is pure racing here at Rødby.
Gino Rocchio getting a little spat out there as Turney sends it through sideways though, and through getting the double. Jacob Mikolev there will gain the most out of that one as round is off the track, and Turney's off, and so is Kowalczyk. She is not happy at Joe Turney as they came through. I'm not sure how that happened. But drama on the lap, and it is the final lap now, and that's going to mean a huge amount of places gained once again for a handful of drivers.
What drama we have seen in this first Superheat of the day for the OK category. Roman Kamyab is surely going to win this race. Pole is not going to be decided for the final in the first Superheat, but so many stories up and down the order throughout these 17 laps. Gino Rocchio still trying to hold on for 7th place ahead of Coivisto, and Clovis Nougared, who could be going through as well. Roman Kamyab will have no idea of the chaos that's been going on behind him. Another very professional job from him and Ricky Flynn Motorsports. Kamyab wins Superheat A, takes the lead in the intermediate classification, so he's jumped Pradeer as well, will be on the front row for the final, could still be on pole for the final as well. Thibaut Ramaker's through in 2nd place. Oliver Kinmark sticks it in the top 3. A brilliant drive for Koski Motorsport. Christian Kostoya is in the game. He will have a decent starting position to start scoring championship points in the final later on today. What a comeback from the Spaniard, from the championship leader, after that difficult start through timed qualifying. He's P4. Thomas Pradeer at the moment holds 2nd place in the final intermediate classification with that 5th place. And then chaos class. Mikolev wins it, P6. Rocchio 7th. Gast, Clementson and Mins all in the top 10. Clementson may well be through with that result to the top 36, because so many others had problems out there. Nougared, Coivisto 11th, Nougared 12th, Lysen, Louette and Kelleher in the top 15. Noah Wolf, who was spun round on lap 1, comes all the way back to P16. Macedo 17th, the Troja Kolovos, and then into the retirements. It is a long, long list of them, from 36 drivers due to start this race. We lost half of the field, pretty much. Kolovos and Kowalczyk were the first 2 of them. Turney, Meto, Ivanikov, Toby Gale, Pokla, Kaczynski, Sharp Green, Gustafsson, Hakkinen, and more. let's have a look at some of the highlights from that crazy first superheat of the day. This was the race start. This was arguably the calmest bit of the whole 17 laps. Good stuff from Kamyab round the outside. A tremendous start from the RFM driver, and here's where it begins. So Joe Turney got into the back of Noah Wolf, may have been encouraged from behind. That triggered the pile-up in turn 3 that took around a third of the field out of the race, including the likes of Aston Sharp, Scott Marsh, and others. Zach Green in there as well. This is the end of the weekend for a lot of these drivers. They needed to race through and gain positions. That was not going to happen on this occasion. Kamyab took the race lead from Pradair for his race. That was the key move in the end. Kinmark had a strong run. That was him getting past Coy Visto for 4th place. Thibaut Ramekers, this is what he does on a finals day. Aggressive, punchy, getting through the order past Pradair there into 2nd place. It was all going on in the midfield as well. Joe Turney, having had problems in the early stages in that first lap incident, was coming back through. There was a couple of laps where he put on a bit of a clinic in terms of the overtaking and picking his lines. Danny Kelleher and Bryce Lyson, they had a bit of a coming together through the banked hairpin. That allowed Joe Turney to get up another couple of positions, knowing that one of his championship rivals, Christian Costoya, was up the road at this point. He'd been able to pull his way through. Bo Lewet was a big part of this superheat as well. Was one of the survivors from the first lap incident. At one point, looked like he was going to book his ticket through into the top 36, but the field came back. Noah Wolf, as we say, went for a bit of an alternative line through turn 11, gave a thumbs up to his mechanic and said, yep, well, fine, we'll carry on. We never know what we could pick up in a race like this. Once again, Lyson, Lewet, Clovis Nugred in this battle as well. A number of the Victory Lane team looking to go through. Sebastian Mins and Vegard Clementson particularly. This was the moment where we saw 3 wide. Kelleher into turn number 8. In the end, went off the road. Bit of a disappointing race for Danny Kelleher, but don't count him out. Remember the performance that he had, of course, back at Viterbo. That was the moment Lewet's progress kind of halted off the road and having to cut through the grass. There was more overtaking going on. Maria Neto was getting involved in this race in the 299. Another overtake from Ramekers. That was the key one for taking P2 into turn number 3. Kinmark down the inside as well. Will be down in a few moments with Anthony Jordan, and there is Christian Costoya making his way through. And indeed, let's head down as these highlights continue with Anthony Jordan, who's down in Parc Ferme.
Thank you very much, Andrew Mather. Yes, indeed, here with our race winner from that one, Roman Kamyab. Roman, great race for you on that one, but a bit of a dramatic race on that. You didn't really see what happened while you were on that first lap, but when you came back around, what did you make of all those karts that were parked up at turn number 3?
Yeah, I was really confused. It was like half the grid were off the track. I stayed calm, though. I knew I had the speed. I was just waiting to go again.
With now, obviously, a lot of those new drivers who were fighting through the field on that one, was there any concern that there might be a random driver here that you hadn't been racing so far this weekend that might go for a move?
No, I'm not too sure.
Yeah. But still, it was like a close little fight on that one. For you, though, that's job done for the time being. There is still, of course, the senior race later on to go for the Superheat B. That could still see a man on top. But are you feeling confident that you've done enough this weekend to have a really good run? And that final coming up later, are you still confident for that as well?
Yes, definitely. Because whether I'm on pole or not, I just did P1 in the pre-final now, and I started 2nd. So I think I can definitely do it.
Excellent. Well, congratulations, and we'll see you out there. Well done this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much to Roman Kamyab there. As the rest of the karts were all pretty battle-scarred after that very frantic Superheat 1. But we'll head back to the juniors and back up to the commentary box with you, Andrew Mather.
Thank you very much, Anthony Jordan. Ready for this this second junior race. We've still got more highlights, of course, going through on your screens there from the previous race. There was Kamyab taking the win, and quite confidence, I would say, for Roman Kamyab ahead of that final later on. We'll go back to the senior category later on this morning for that decider of who's going to be on pole position. We already know who's going to be on pole position in OK Junior, but there is still the question of who's going to start alongside Bosco Arias on the front row for the race start. The clear-up continues from the first heat for the juniors, but we'll start our preparation, of course, for Superheat number 2. 13 laps once again, just over 16 kilometres for the next set of the 72 qualifiers from yesterday's and Thursday's qualifying heats to get going here in OK Junior. There is a solemn sight for a number of the drivers. Ella Hakkinen there, real shame for Ella. Still not quite able to get through to one of the finals in Champions of the Future 2025. We'll hope for better luck next week for the FIA race, for the finale of the European Championships. Weather conditions at the moment still quite bright in places, bright in the comms box, but you can see there's some threatening clouds behind the circuit there. It is very changeable here. We are pretty much on the seafront. Big thanks to our volunteers, to our marshals. Without them, we simply could not go racing. It's been a very hospitable environment, a great place to come here to the Rødby karting ring. Very welcoming karting family here in Denmark. And the weather's, as I say, not been too bad for us in race trim so far this weekend. Of course, you can watch every moment of these super heats and all the heats back. If you missed any of the action from yesterday, you can watch it back at your leisure on the platform, broadcast platform of your choice. Now, there is an interesting development on our front row. Our pole sitter, Eli Christian, for this race has elected, as is his prerogative, to switch to the outside. Now, interested to know why he's done that. We won't find out, of course. We'll just speculate on why Christian has gone through. In fact, whilst we've got a few moments, let's go back to yesterday and his thoughts after the qualifying heats.
Here with a driver who's going to at least be on pole for one of the super heats tomorrow morning. We're not quite sure which one yet. Eli Christian, that felt like a really, really big win, not just for the context of the round, but the championship as well.
Yeah, this week has been really good, from practice to quality to heats. It's been getting better and better over the heats, and now if I'm lucky, I'll be Super Heat A, and if not, I get at least Super Heat B.
And you've got more points in the championship versus some of your rivals, particularly in that last race, William Kalisha. Talk me through what was in your mind ahead of the race, particularly with one of those rivals in William on the front row.
I knew William is good in the championships, so when I saw I had a gap, I tried to push a bit so I can get the gap even bigger. But then when I knew I was pretty fast, I was trying to keep calm for the tires and everything.
We've been commenting across the weekend so far that the OTK products seem to be really, really strong this weekend. Is it these cooler conditions that we had in Viterbo and Portimao that's playing into your favour, do you think?
Honestly, I think on this track, Tony Car has been very good, especially everybody in the team has been doing very good. So I think the chassis is very good on these conditions.
How will you get ready for the super heats tomorrow?
I'll just see how it turns out and relax.
Good to hear there from Eli Christian after those qualifying heats yesterday. As we say, a swap on the front row. So Noah Baglin will now start on driver's right-hand side. He'll, of course, have to be edged back a little bit to make sure that it's not a jump start. But that's another interesting call from a pole sitter, Anthony.
Well, yes, an interesting call. We did see it obviously work out for Roman Kamiap as well in previous races yesterday. But I can understand this one because now look who starts directly behind Eli Christian. Fellow teammate Olivier Adesini, who is looking for his first appearance in a final in 2025. And at this moment, yeah, that's certainly looking like it's going to go his way, and this will certainly benefit him in this one. I'm going to say it because I like saying it. Clouds are looming over the circuit. But that's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
Tyre Park.
The wind. I'm going to be positive. The wind is still pretty strong and blowing them through.
And the weather forecast today said nothing. So yeah, there we go. I'm just throwing that little curveball in to everyone to keep everyone on their tiptoes.
Let's talk Olivier Adesini a little bit more. Big breakthrough result already this weekend. First points of the season in terms of championship for Olivier Adesini with that great performance through the 5 rounds of qualifying heats. And as you say, immediately potentially thrown into a bit of a team role here to help his the championship contender within the Works Tony Kart team, Eli Christian. It is very strong wind out there at the moment. You can tell all of our country's flags there. Looks like our recovery team have completed their operations after that senior race.
It's a good shot with the flags. Unfortunately, the backdrop here isn't the most prettiest backdrops in the world. That's very unfortunate because we are in a beautiful part of Denmark. But the problem is there's a big new engineering project currently underway around us. And that, of course, is the massive tunnel that is going to be built between Denmark and Germany. And, of course, unfortunately for the circuit here at Rødby, that comes out right exactly where the track is. So, well, in a few years' time, they might find themselves with a brand new set of footfall coming their way. But, yeah, right now, it's a bit of surrounded by a construction site and workers all day long, every single day. Right then, engines are firing up. Drivers are heading out onto the circuit. Let's quickly fire through that full starting line. I'm Eli Christian and Noah Baglin on row number 1. Valerio Villapiana as well on a superb run this weekend for the Italian. What can he do alongside the Indonesian of Olivier Nicini? Maxim Bobajov and Julian Fresnelli go from row number 2. They'll have Iskender Solfikari and Evan Purcell on row number 4. Lucas Sell and Kasper Reipod on row number 5. Gilles Herman and Remy Samchek on row number 6. Alaprian Bruno and Sevelodo Sudlovsky on row number 7. Asher Oshtein and Lucas Bonholm go from row number 8. Jarlo Sayer and Enu Arata are right on the cut-off area for drivers to make it through to the final on row 9.
Here are your drivers who need to go forward in this one, otherwise it's the end of their weekend. Row 10, Mariano Lopez and Tobias Juzeni. Marcel Szabo and Bruno Blanco from row 11. Jesse Phillips and Devin Waltz, that is a big row 12. Row 13, Leo Gorski and Drew Waltz. Luke Tahl and Nilas Malik on row 14. Nathan Kappen and Alex Malota on row 15. Row 16, Mark Pilipenko and Samuel Hugon. Row 17, Vincent Kraft on a wildcard appearance. It's an all wildcard. Row 17, in fact, with Christian Alexander Rust on that one as well. Amir Sabarov and Max Lacroix will hope for a small miracle from row number 18. But as we've just seen in that first senior race, Anthony, that run into turn 3 can produce some drama.
Oh,
there is the rain radar.
Add to boot. First time we've seen it this weekend, isn't it? And well, there's a spot or two around us. Oh, no, you know, I'm going to keep the drama, I'm going to keep the tension high. One of them blue dots north of us might be a bother, but there you go. I'll leave that to Tyre Park to deal with. Right, they're going to hate me after this. Right then, field making their way down then to the red line. From this point onwards, no overtaking permitted. 2x2 rolling start formation, and drivers should be primed and ready to go for this race. Baglin has fresh boots on the left-hand side of his kart. He is on the front row of the grid. However, he has been forced to the inside of row number 1. He will have to deal with Grisson and Olivier Nicini with the run down in towards turn number 1 into the tram lines. Are we racing? The lights go green. We are racing in towards T1, and City immediately covers off Baglin and does so successfully. Julian Fresnelli also gets through. It's a Tony Kart 1, 2, 3 at the start of this race.
Very good news then for Eli Christian.
No,
it's happened again in turn 3. Not as many drivers involved this time, but for a number in the second half of the field, their hopes of going through are already extinguished.
I think Jesse Phillips was one of those as well. It was, I think, as well as Mariano Lopez and Tobias Tajeni also involved, as there is Julian Fresnelli. He's been squeezed out of the pack, and he has tumbled down the order now.
Yeah, I think he may have been encouraged into that one as Villapiana's going on the attack there with the number 69 of Iskender Solfikari. They get together again. Baglin does, I think, have new tyres for this race. So in the middle part of the race, he's going to be very, very quick indeed. What can Baglin do? He's going to shift to the inside. Look at the defensive work from Iskender Solfikari. This, I think, is an element of teammates of championship contenders trying to help them out. For Solfikari, it's all about Collegia. Collegia's not in this race, of course, but Forza Racing will not want to see that number 8 kart getting past the number 69 in any quick shape or form, because that is going to be gaining points for Noah Baglin.
Well, it's going to be a bit difficult to do so. Eli Christian currently still second in those points, 325. Baglin at the moment, 273. That's a big deficit in those points. And despite the fact that Baglin is still there in P4, I don't think he's going to have enough. Tries to get the switch over, but he's on the outside line. Through goes the Koski. of Valerio Virpiana back up into third place. A beautiful little drive. But this is third all the way down right now. We're 3 wide across the start-finish line. Baglin's in the middle, checks his left, checks his right, has to break out of that one. There was no way he was going to hold the line on the middle there.
Yeah, Noah had to back out there. That was a championship contender's move. He could not risk sticking his nose down the middle there.
Oh dear.
As there's more dramas for drivers behind. The 87 of Samuel Hugon is out of this race as the final. Bruno Blanco, I think, was gone in the 45, and Nathan Kappen will also not go through to the top 36. These were all runners in the second half of the field at the very start. Meanwhile, Solfikari going for the move down the inside, whether Lucas Sell likes it or not. The driver from Turkey is coming through and up now to 4th place.
Yes, indeed. The fight is on, though, in this pack, because look at them. They're still scrabbling for position there. Green flags waving at that marshal post, so maybe there's been a moment as Fresnelli communicating there a little bit with Bruno Priam, sorry, I should say, as they stay line astern and not go for the attack on this one. So let's keep an eye on this one as they continue to push forward in the latter stage of this race, but still, we're on lap 4 of 13, long way to go. Right now, as Udir Jalasea in the 103 has just tumbled down the order, and so has Maxim Bobajov as well.
And that's not good news for Sayer. While Sayer was inside the cutoff overnight, it was only just, so a loss of positions there. Well, he's only dropped to 18th and has now got back up one of those spots. Okay, he might be all right then, just to hold on here. As long as it doesn't drop down into the 20s. Oh, it's Noah Baglin getting a bit physical there with Priam. That was for 8th place. Here comes Osachi Suslovsky, who's really impressed me this weekend, Anthony. He's been improving all the while. We saw him come through at Portimao. It's developed very quickly. This is not going Noah Baglin's way on these new tyres. He is being shuffled back. There's quite a lot of aggressive moves coming in, and again, Baglin cannot risk a retirement from this race. He will make the final, that's fine, that's not the problem, but he cannot afford to drop a long way down the intermediate classification because that will cost him championship points.
Certainly will. Here we go. Ostazi Sudlovsky here, Samchek and Priam Bruno going wheel to wheel. Priam Bruno's got through, Samchek as well. They're wheel to wheel now going down in towards the final sector, but Samuel Osachi Sudlovsky sends it back through. And retakes that position away as they go back onto the start-finish straight. Still a long train of drivers in this one, and the frustration in the background there as, my goodness me, Lucas Bonhomme absolutely defensive on Endo Arata and Devon Waltz.
Was that stuck back from that one. That was very, very brave out there. There's a move from Osachi Suslovsky down the inside. Samchik in the grass for a moment there. So Osachi Suslovsky now to P8.
Oh dear, Ostin and Baglin have gone off the track in the background of that one. Baglin has tumbled down all the way to 34th place. His chances of getting up in this sharp end are diminishing wildly.
And that...
Well, no, he's back there.
No, okay.
No, so has he got a transponder issue then? I think he may have because, he tumbled down to 34th, but he is still there. So if you are a Baglin fan, apologies, he is still in this race.
It's not the best of news, though, for Noah Baglin. He's down in 21st, and this is really the first time this whole weekend we've been talking about these 4 championship contenders, Kalesia, Christen, Baglin, Domain. They've all been having very good weekends up to this point. This is the first time we've seen one of them on the back foot in a major way. Noah Baglin wants to keep himself in play going to Kristianstad. He's going to have a really good second half of this Superheat and then a good final as well, because he's going to start losing ground to his contenders.
No, he certainly is. There, you're seeing a warning flag. 5-second penalty to Bruno Blanco, unfortunately, for causing a collision out on circuit. He will not be happy with that one. Endo down into 24th now as well, just tumbling down as down the inside. Samuel Sudlovsky on Priam Bruno steps up into 8th place now. This is a good drive for him, but now Bruno under attack from Reipold and Samchek, who are keeping it in play. I've got to say, this is a fight all the way to the end in this race, Andrew.
Absolutely. We've got some good drives coming through the field as well that could be making the difference between making the final and not making the final. Devin Waltz is having one, up 11 spots to 13th. Jarlath Sayer, we dared to count him out earlier in this race as through goes Priam on Samchik there. That was for 10th place. Jarlath Sayer is back up to P15 now. He's just lost 14th to Leo Gorski, who is similarly up 11 places. So we're going to be seeing some changes here. Here are some of those drivers indeed. The number 84 of Evan Purcell started to come back through the order as well. Had some good races through yesterday and Thursday. He should be going through to the final. There is Jarlath Sayer at the back of your screen with Leo Gorski side by side between Samchik and Purcell. Samchik takes the position back up to 12th place.
Indeed, and continues that push through the field. Right, lap number 9. We are on now, 8 completed. Time running out. Let's just take a recap of this race. Still Christian who leads the way. Cleared by 2.3 seconds now of Olivier Ricini. Valerio Villapiana, after that dramatic start, still holds on to 3rd place. Ahead of Zulfikari, Fresnelli, who's in 5th from Sel Herman. Reipold, then Soslovsky from Brno, and Devon Waltz, who round out the top 11. That is a big jump there for Devon Waltz. Is off the track. Drama striking for Maxim Bobrozov and Christian Alexander Ust. They are out of this race and will go no further, and the chance of them making it into the final diminishing very quickly. For Rust, he was not up in that top area. He's definitely out. For Bobrozov, he might still be okay, but he was in a rough part there.
Yeah, I think Bobrozov will be okay, but again, it's one of those cases where we would have been expecting him to start around the 5th or 6th row of the grid. That's going to be a lot lower on the grid now for Maxim Bobrozov. Real shame. He's been having a good weekend up to this point. Here's a good scrap. This is Villapiana fighting just ahead of the number 69 of Zulfikari. Now, what's happened here? Villapiana currently showing at 7th.
5-second time penalty has been applied to Villapiana. That's why he's dropping down. And then also, you just saw it there as well. The black and white flag to Noah Baglin. Also, he's had the ups and downs throughout this race, and I think he's just been caught in one of those moments where he's been trying to push back through. Unfortunately, it's just ended up being a little bit too rough. Yeah,
indeed. Okay, I've caught up now with what's going on. So Villapiana holds position on the road ahead of Zulfikari, but has a plus 5 second penalty. So that's why he's showing down in 7th place on the road at the moment. Into the latter stage there. I think still a weekend for Villapiana that they can be very proud of. It's been one of the breakthrough stars this weekend.
Yeah, certainly so, and he's still going to be in a really good position come that final as well. Yeah. So he's going to be one to really keep an eye on here, as well as this man here, Eli Christian in the lead. We've not said much about him in this race, but he's had an absolutely storming performance so far this weekend. Continuing that trend, he's had 3 wins in those qualifying heats, 3rd and 2nd. He is going to be one to watch, as Soslovsky has also picked up a 5-second time penalty. My goodness me, the amount of warning flags that have gone out to the drivers in that top to mid pack, that's going to be a very interesting race result afterwards.
This is going to be one of those that's provisional with a capital P. Also out of the race, just out of our commentary box window. Apologies for those who are not able to see it at home. There's a lot going on our cameras at the moment. Mariano Lopez, Tobias Jenny are both out of this race. An incident down at turn 7 has taken them out of it. Meanwhile, here's another scrap. This is the number 69 of Zulfikari, ahead of Villapiana once more, with Julian Frasnelli not too far behind here. Villapiana has a little look into turn number 3. Frasnelli, another breakthrough star this weekend. First points in the championship for him yesterday, and he's on for another haul here.
He certainly is. This is a really strong drive for the field, but a very dramatic one still nonetheless, as we're on the final lap of this race. Villapiana's going to try and hold on to this position, but it's not going to work out for him. Fresnelli tries to go through. Contact made between the two of them, and now this is going to allow Lucas Sell to close in. Villapiana around the outside. He's already got a 5-second time penalty, but Sell gets the both of them through past them both as Christian crosses the line to see the checkered flag. He will put himself on the front row for the final later on today alongside Bosco Arias. For Olivier Cini, he will put himself on the inside of row number 2. William Kalija will join Olivier Licini on that second row of the grid. But for Eli Christian, that is a job well done here in Rødby, as they will head to their final later on today. Bosco Arias v Eli Christian, Spain versus Canada, will be the fight from the front row in the OK Junior category. There's a look at your full result then. Christian from Cini, Zulfikari from Cell, Herman from Fresnelli via Piana dropping to 7th from Soslovsky. Of course, a lot of these drivers all receiving warning flags as well. Reipold finishing there in 9th place ahead of Devon Waltz. Brian Bruno ahead of Remy Samchek. Evan Purcell from Leonardo Gorski. Jarla Sayer from Mark Pilapenko. Big gains for them. 15 for Pilapenko. Alex Malota with a 13th place gain. Asher Osteen from Endo Arata. Noah Baglin finishing in 20th place ahead of Jesse Phillips. Drew Waltz from Nathan Cappin. Marcel Seven from Lucas Bonhomme. Max Lacroix from Nilas Malik. Luke Tal rounds out the 28 finishes in that race. But those results, of course, are provisional with a capital P. So many warning flags still yet to be applied to that result. And that will change that order dramatically, I am sure. Retirements, Vincent Kraft, Tobias Jenny, Marina Lopez, Maxim Bobrajov, Christian Alexander Rust from Amir Sabrov, Bruno Blanco, and Samuel Hugon, all not making it to the end of that race. And for a lot of those drivers, that is going to be an end to their weekend, and they will not make the final. For Ilo Christian and Olivier Licini, solid start to the race for them. With the switch of sides, Christian assists his teammate to push forward. Drama into turn number 3. There you could see Phillips going skywards there and rotating. I think all cuts managed to continue in that race. The first of those times would come from Samuel Hugon and Bruno Blanco later on in the race. Drama right at the start for Fresnelli at the beginning of that one, getting spat out of the field there. And you can see more dramas. Valerio Villapiana battling away with Bukowski. They're pushing through, and the victory lane. Lucas Sell trying to get his way back through in those early stages of that race to later finish on a 5-place gain in P number 4. Still a strong start to them. Such an amazing fight through the field. Constant action throughout, as the main story on that one was the likes of Noah Baglin from the front row of the grid, despite the fact that he had new tyres on board, was not able to get through. This moment here, very, very important there, just the backing out of that fight. There was the first of the retirements. Unfortunately, Samuel Hugon and Bruno Blanco out of the race. Later, we would see Amir Sabrov, unfortunately, the driver who started on the back of the grid in 35th place at the start of this race, not making it to the end. Sevoloda Sachis-Sadlowski there on the Monster K Factory ASD machine. Good race for him, however, did pick up a warning flag, so will tumble down the field the same as the rest. But we'll leave you with these highlights as we'll head down to Parc Ferme and to Andrew Mather.
Thank you very much, Anthony, here with our latest race winner. Another one on the book there, Eli Christian. Not quite pole position in the final, but still starting on the front row. I bet you're very pleased.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that I'm fast and that I'll be starting on the front row in final. Would have been a bit better starting from pole, but I think if I get a good start in the final and then I keep a good pace, I could have potential to win.
Can you tell me a little bit about the decision to swap sides? Were you worried about Noah Baglin on those new tyres?
I swapped sides because there was 2 teammates starting on the outside, and also I wanted to see how it is from the outside. I was a bit scared that Noah gets a good start, but it ended well.
It was very good work from your teammates. How proud are you of the work that Olivier Licini and Julian Fresnelli did in that race?
Yeah, I saw that there was a big gap behind after Cini, so I thought they had a big fight. And then I'm happy to see that all the teammates are there in the front, and maybe we can help each other in the final.
Hopes for the final. It's going to be a competitive final. Do you think you can do it?
I'll do my best.
Good stuff, Eli. We'll let you get ready for that final. Thanks for talking to us. More racing to come, though, here in the Superheats. One more in the seniors, and it's a pole decider as well. Back up to you in the box, Anthony.
Thank you very much, Andrew Mather, down there in Parc Ferme. It certainly is a pole decider on this one, as we will see Kenzo Craigie on the front row of the grid for this one. He has got that fighting chance of putting his machine on pole position in the senior category for that final, which would be an absolutely enthralling one to watch, I am sure, with only 3 more races to go this weekend. There is your grid. Kenzo Craigie at the front of it with Yindra Peschel for company alongside Peschel, who has been dominating the second place spot so far this weekend with the 1 qualifying heat win. Certainly is going to be looking like a real contender this weekend. Lev Krutilov and Jensen Burnett on the second row of the grid as well. Don't rule out these 2 drivers. Remember, Jensen Burnett, the second fastest driver from time qualifying earlier on this weekend for the Forza Racing team on the Esprit chassis, the satellite team behind the factory Tony Kart team. They're on the front row of the grid. But still, a good showing for the drivers on this one. Another driver you're going to need to keep an eye on, Zach Drummond from Scotland for the United Kingdom on that third row of the grid. May have been 17th in qualifying, but he won his first qualifying heat of the weekend, and the rest of his results have been pretty decent. He did have the DNF in his second one, but then later on, 4th, 3rd, and 4th, he has been a dominant force at the sharp end of this field. Certainly one to keep an eye on. Another one to keep an eye on, Davide Battaro, 35th in qualifying, but now finds himself on the third row of the grid for this Superheats. Let's take you through the starting lineup. It's Craigie and Peschel, row number 1. Krutilov and Burnett, row 2, with Drummond and Battaro, row number 3. Sebastiano Pavan and Louis Cochet go from row 4. They will have Filippo Sala and Jacopo Martinese on row number 5. Brand new set of tyres for Martinese. Managed to save them up until this point. Kamenek and Fastainado on row number 6. They'll have Leo Nilsson and Kare Fairhan on row number 7. Alexander Chartier and Oliver Rasmussen on row number 8. Efim Dudanov and Sonia B go from row number 9. They'll have Luna Flusha and James Anagnostiadis, the 2 Prema Racing teammates, and the 2 Mercedes Young Junior driver teammates on row number 10. But Anagnostiadis has got the fresh tyres on the left-hand side as well. Austin Gale and Roland Cooklane go from row number 11. They'll have Vilma Svan and Dean Pedersen on row 12. Peter Stiller and Zhao Zijun go from row 13. Franciszek Zielinski is all on his own on row number 14. Marco Shilkunis not out on track and will not make the final. Armin Karia Osman and Sky Parker will go from row 15. Zhang Jose on their own on row number 16. No Oscar Gallin on the grid. He'll also not make the final. Hugo Marti, Lillian Scarborough, Luke Cornder and Jorn Helder round out the 34 kart field that'll be out on circuit. The drivers at the front of the field here, they have got to really think on their feet right now because, well, Jacopo Martinese there on the 5th row of the grid in P10. Fresh tyres on board. And looking out the window, again, those clouds still looming off in the area in the background. We'll keep a close eye on that. But I've just had Andrew Mather come into the commentary box saying, it's fine, don't worry. But
it's all good.
I'm just keeping up the tension, Andrew. I'm just keeping up the tension. Right, here we go then into the final quarter. Tram lines to go. Kenzo Craigie on a chance to put himself on pole position for the final. Can it happen? Can the Mercedes Junior driver deliver here in Rødby? We're about to find out. Into the tram lines. Lights are not out. We're going round again. It is a false start. First one of the day.
Yeah, first one of the day. But maybe just a bit of time for the drivers to properly keep it measured and under control. We don't want to see another repeat of what happened at turn 3 in the first of these Superheats for the OK category. If you're just joining us, quite a few drivers, well, there's no other way of putting it, half the field finished the first Superheat. There are the clouds over the circuit, but as I say, it's still quite windy out there, so I don't expect any rain to fall on us as long as that wind keeps blowing through. Yeah, a little bit quick at the front, particularly on that offside. On the anti-pole side of the grid, quite a few gaps in that formation. I can see why that was waved round again.
I think it looked good. I don't think Dan actually would appreciate me saying that.
It's the last race before the lunch break.
Exactly. And of course, he can see it a lot better than what we can. We're stuck in a box with just a single pane window, and we're not even looking out of it. We're looking at a TV screen. Right there, now Marty B, race director, slows the field down once again. keep them bunched up. It's very tempting to go very early here as we go for attempt number 2 here. This time, lights are out. We are racing. Good start for the front row. Good start for Kenzo, Craigie, Peschel getting swamped by the pack there as they go in towards turn number 2 and 3. Big braking zone here. We've seen the pile-ups happen. Are we going to see more? We are. And is that Peschel? I think it is. Yindra Peschel from the front row has tumbled down the order, and they didn't even get it towards turn number 3 before the drama's happening. Off the track goes the likes of Austin Gale. He's had drama. Ricky Flenchang Jose and Paralins Hugo Marti out of the race.
And they're all drivers who started low down the order. That's it. They're gone. They will not make it through as through is that Davide Bataro moving up the order in the, well, it's a CRG, but with the different brand engines. That's why it's down as a Jello Mini. Oh, Luna Flusha's out outside of our window. We'll come back to that because this is a really good scrap for 3rd place. Zach Drummond, he likes this place. He was on the podium last time Champions of the Future visited Rødby. That was in the junior category. Scrapping there with Sebastiano Pavan, who's now up to 4th place. But yes, so there's been some big fallers in this one. Louis Cachet has, well, no, he's having
he's in this race. I think he's having transponder issues more than anything. But
just hopped back up to 12th place. Luna Flusha is out. Marcus Shulkunas gone as well. Hugo Marti's got going again, but is a long way off the back of the field. And as you mentioned, Anthony, Jose and Gallen also not going any further in this race.
Yeah, that's a big shame for Luna Flusha. She was right on that cut-off to be able to get into that final.
She's gone. Yeah,
but now she's out of this race. She will not make the final at all, and that is a huge shame for her. Eyes on this one, though. Jacopo Martinese there, trying to push through. Has just got the likes of, I think that's Rastamanado right in front. Filippo Sala has just got that move done. Martinez, of course, on the fresh tyres, would be wanting to utilise this as Sebastiano Pavan sends it down the inside of Zach Drummond, and that's a step up into 4th place.
Big day for Martinez in terms of championship. He lost 2nd place in the standings overnight to Kenzo Craigie. Still this opportunity, but it's going to be the last opportunity to gain some more points on Costoia if he can get a big result here. So playing these new tyres now could be a really, really good bit of strategy for Martinez.
Oh.
That's a nice move from Zach Drummond using the banking. Oh, a little bit too much speed. A bit of a tap there from Sebastiano Pavan to say, no, you're not going to do that to me, Zach. Back up to 4th place goes the Energy Course driver, and that's going to bring Martinez into play. Keep an eye on the Italian in the blue and green liveried machine there. Can he find a way through past Zach Drummond for 5th place? Look how much grip, extra grip he's got through turn 2. Great stuff from a race winner earlier on in the year. Had that great weekend at Portimao, of course. He's up to 5th place.
Yep, certainly so. And right now, looking mighty strong. Sala trying to look for the move here now as well. Not able to get it done, and Drummond seemingly now has been a bit frazzled from all of that racing. He's now trying to get his head back into the game here as Leo Nilsson and Fastawanado just behind. Nilsson not looking for the move down the inside of Sala, stays behind through turn at number 9 as Fastawanado under pressure now from Jensen Burnett, who is on the recovery in this race. He's down 6 places right now. Not in the position he would like to be. Cachet and Kavanek just behind as well. They've just switched places. Rasmussen there behind in 13th place as well.
A good race this from Superheat B's drivers. That's Louis Cachet on the move. Has just got past Jakob Kavanek for 11th place. Jensen Burnett is his next target up the road. Cachet has had flashes of brilliance so far this weekend, including that 2nd place in the 4th round of heats into turn 7. The picture, the angle that we have doesn't quite give the full story of how wide the entry is to that part of the circuit. It's so hard to defend both in and out of that corner if you are ahead, but Jensen Burnett's doing a pretty good job at the moment. Cachet goes down the inside and Arnado nearly finds himself on the grass. That's going to open the door for others to come in. Behind here's Pedersen, here's Rasmussen also on the scene. Completion of lap number 15. Kenzo Craigie still out front, looking pretty comfortable at the moment, 1.4 seconds in the lead.
Yeah, again, seemingly untouchable, and of course looking for that pole position. This is a much better run than what he had in his last qualifying heat yesterday, where it all kind of went a bit Pete-tong for him. And when I was speaking to him afterwards, he was saying that, have I not got pole? I'll be like, oh, you have got pole, but just in Superheat B, not Superheat A. And that's still a good place to be, though, of course, because with that, he's still in the line for pole position overall. Look at this from the likes of Jakub Kamenek trying to battle away with Dean Pedersen. Not happening, and Alexander Chartier there just squeezing his way through and stepping up on now what they're on lap number 6, going on to lap number 7 now. Still Craigie from Krutulov. Martinez has just got up into 3rd place as well.
It's a really good race for Martinez. He's delivering on the strategy that's been played out by the Kart Republic team here, and it's not done. He could still close in on Lev Krutulov and take 2nd place. Not in the top 8 of the final intermediate classification as things stand. That's another lovely move from Leo Nielsen. I've been really impressed with Leo Nielsen's recovery from a tough 2nd round. Had a clash with Oliver Kinmark, fell out of the race. Officials judged it to not be his fault. Since then, he has struck back with a trio of top 5s. That's now him on his way to another one, if he can gain another position out there and get past Zach Drummond. But Leo Nielsen, as one of the Scandinavian drivers here this weekend, I think is someone that we've definitely got to keep an eye on in the final as a bit of a dark horse.
Yeah, 100%. I would not disagree with you on that at all. A lot of I wouldn't disagree with a lot of things like that on any of these drivers, to be honest. They've all shown great pace this weekend. They've all shown great racecraft as well. We've had some really amazing battles here as, Martinez has got the move done on Lev Krutulov. Now he's up into 2nd place. Don't fret about the timing. Alexander Chartier did not just accelerate into the race lead and clear by 40 seconds ahead of Kenzo Craigie. But it is still Craigie that leads the way. But that fight there for 2nd place. Martinez now at this 2nd half of the race. Those tyres have really come into play now.
And they really, really have. And the fact that he's got a longer race to use them in as well, it's been one of the real strengths of the Kart Republic chassis over the last few years is their ability to keep the pace up deep into the longer races, your superheats, your finals. That's why I'm not counting the likes of Nielsen out. We've already seen earlier on this season, remember back to Viterbo with Danny Kelleher and his great drive through to the podium that day. It's something they've got really good control of, whether it be with the Works team or their myriad of satellite teams here. We're on lap number 9 of 17. Craigie will now need to go into a bit of race management mode. Keep the pace relatively high. Won't want to let Jacopo Martinez catch up to him. Lev Krutulov playing a quite sensible game at the moment. Has got that gap at the moment. Hasn't really got the opportunity to go for an overtake. But I'm pretty sure he will just sit there now. He can see that Martinez has got very good pace at this stage of the race. No need to attack. He could provide a way back to Craigie in the latter stages.
Indeed. Eyes on this then. Sala getting past Pavan. Cochet still struggling with that transponder. He's still there in 10th place at this moment, so we'll keep a close eye on that progression. There is the Drummond and Nilsson battle right now. That is P5 and P6. Nilsson, of course, has been on the charge in this one. I suspect another overtake is on the cards as he looks to the inside. Turn number 7, been a hot spot that week, this weekend, hasn't it, that hairpin? So many races have been decided there.
Spot on overtake there from Leo Nielsen. That was millimetre perfect in terms of his turning, his braking. He nailed the apex. He didn't allow the kart to wash out there and allow Drummond to come back on the undercut there. That was a really, really nice piece of overtaking from Leo Nielsen. And now he's up to 5th place, about 9/10 back from Davide Battaro, looking to move further forward. Other changes in the order. Sala confirmed us through past Burnett. I think there's been some changes as well. He's at it again. James Anagnostiadis up to 14th place. I think he needs a little improvement to make it through to the final, and I very much hope he does. Because James Anagnostiadis, if you weren't with us yesterday, has been an overtaking machine this weekend. Even if he's on the back row of the grid, I would be really looking forward to another James Anagnostiadis hack from the back of the field just to see how many positions he could gain. Yeah,
so far so good for him. He is a second one of those drivers who has deployed fresh tyres on the left-hand side, so that will be assisting him somewhat in this race as he is now closed in on the fighting up ahead. You can see him right at the back of this train. Pavan under pressure from Louis Cochet. Right now, Energy Course versus Victory Lane. And it goes the way of Victory Lane. The Frenchman up ahead now and into 7th place.
A good overtake there from the French driver, who's looking to continue to add to his Tally of great results here in the OK category. Oh, a little bit of a half attempt there from Oliver Rasmussen. It's going to drop him back into the clutches of Filippo Sala. Burnett on the attack as well. Goes through past Sebastiano Pavan. What's happening there with the Energy Corsa in the latter third of this race? Yeah, I think Sala did get through past Rasmussen a couple of corners ago. We've been talking a lot about how many opportunities there are to overtake around this circuit. Thank you very much, Sebastiano Pavan. That was a great example for us, as here comes Fausto Arnardo. You've got to commit, though. You can't be half-hearted around this circuit, as we've just seen there in the case with Rasmussen.
No, exactly. You know, as soon as you get that opportunity to get a nose down the inside, you have to take it. Exactly like what James Adignosiadis. Great timing for the demonstrations here of what we're saying. Yeah, you know, Adignosiadis again continuing that trend, but again, it was a committed little overtake there for it. Once again, there you're going to see Kamenek having to defend now from Oliver Rasmussen. Rasmussen may have the chance. He looks to the outside, watch for the switchback, gets half of it done, but doesn't get that nose down the inside. And again, looked like he just backed off the throttle there as they'd exited the hairpin.
Just looking at relative lap times between the race leaders, solid for Kenzo Craigie right now. 50.368 last time around. Jacopo Martinezzi a little bit quicker, but not at the kind of rate that would worry the race leader. Here is a move. Oh, Fausto Arnardo, fair play. Kept his foot in it there, round the outside of Burnett. That's going to give Pavan the chance to go down the inside. And all of a sudden, Burnett's now on the defensive. Adignosiadis nearly draws alongside there. Will maybe look for a move into turn 5. Of course he's going to look for a move into turn 5. Another great bit of overtaking there from the Aussie. Filippo Sala is through as well. Burnett's dropped all the way to the back of this group, and it's just as we say, that is now back alongside Pedersen. That's what we mean. That's what we mean. If you lose the rhythm round this Rugby circuit, you can not just lose one position, but 2, 3, 4. I think he lost about 6 positions in all of that.
Yeah, indeed, and that's what we say. You can get overtakes on nearly every single corner here, and it just shows how flowing the lap is. Side by side over the start-finish line here. Here's Sala and here's Samchek just behind as well. Look at this movement over the start-finish line. Incredible scenes from these drivers. Pedersen and Burnett, line astern, wheel to wheel here as down the inside. Now comes Peschel, Jindra Peschel from the front row of the grid. He tumbled down. He's back with this battle, though.
And he could still potentially get himself onto the third row of the grid here. He's holding 6th place in the intermediate points. As back again comes Burnett on Peschel. That's going to get a little bit tight off of turn number 8. Peschel does well just to withdraw from that situation. 2 more laps to go then, but less than 2 laps to go for the race leader, who's already on his way through sector number 1. And here comes Peschel again. He's keen to get himself further up the order.
He certainly is. Once again, back wheel to wheel over the start-finish line. Nothing that Burnett can do here. Has to slot in between the two of them. Karim Ferhan now here to play. He's joined into the back of this group. And also, you've got Efim Duranov there just behind, who's also wanting to get involved in the fight. And this is bringing a lot of drivers through the order right now. This has been a feisty battle in the mid-pack here, Andrew. All the meanwhile, Kenzo Craigie has been not mentioned too much here in the lead of this race, clear by 1.8 seconds.
Yeah, and holding that 1.8 seconds as things stand. Just to mention as well, for Dean Pedersen, this kind of driver, I think, is going to wrestle him back into the top 36. So the fact that these guys are scrapping behind, that's continued good news for a driver who was a handful of positions outside of the cut-off overnight. 16 laps completed, 1 to go then for Kenzo Craigie, who is going to take pole position for the final here. But I think more importantly, Anthony, it's going to be those 25 championship points. He will have been disappointed to drop the 3 yesterday. But for him here, this is a really good turnaround after that disappointment. He's pretty much only had 1 corner go wrong for him so far this weekend. He will have a big challenge from many drivers in the final, of course. But Kenzo Craigie is going to give his championship boost a big boost here. Over the line, Craigie wins the second Superheats and takes pole position for the final later on this afternoon in the OK category. He dominates that Superheat. It's a 1-2 for KR Chassis. It's the Prema Racing team first. It's the Works Kart Republic team second with Jacopo Martinezzi. That is a massively important result for Jacopo Martinezzi. He's managed to pull himself back onto the first 4 rows of the grid. So, yes, he's not at the sharp end, but he used those new tyres well to give himself a big haul of intermediate points. Well done to Jacopo Martinezzi. Lev Krutilov, another great result there for the Energy Course driver in 3rd. Leo Nielsen started on his way to 4th place and will move his position forward in terms of where he starts the final from the overnight results. Zach Drummond 5th, Davide Battaro 6th, Louis Cachet, Fausto Arnado, Sebastiano Pavan and James Anagnostiadis all inside the top 10. Anagnostiadis will surely be through to the final and will continue on his overtaking charge, I am sure. 11th for Jakub Kamenik, Filippo Sala 12th, Dean Pedersen, Oliver Rasmussen and Yuri Peschel in the top 15. Jensen Burnett 16th, Efim Durinov and Kara Furhand I think will be okay to get through to the final. Vilma Svan might just have missed out, went forward in that race, but only by 4 positions. Likewise for Aman Kara Osman, a 9-place gain into the top 20, but I don't think that's going to be enough to qualify through the final intermediate classification, the FIC. Alexander Chartier, Roland Cook, Lane Sky, Parker, Francis Strzelski and Lillian Scarborough all in the top 25. Zhao Ziyun, Luke Corner, Peter Stiller, Jorn Helder, Austin Gale, Hugo Marti and Sun Yibei finished as well. Retirements for Flusha, Zhang and Shil Kunas. Back to the race start then. With Craigie looking for that strong run into turn 1. Drummond had a good start, had a look down the inside of Krutilov for 2nd place in the early stages there. Into turn 3, we've seen a lot of thrills and spills so far on lap 1 in this part of the circuit. That was Yuri Peschel going down the order, just running out of room. Out of the race in the early stages would go more drivers. The 275 of Hugo Marti did get going again, but Marcus Shilkunas and Oscar Gallen, both non-starters, would not go any further than that. Here was the battle between Pavan and Drummond. Pavan winning out on that occasion, but the Scottish driver would strike back down the inside into turn number 4. Good exchange between those two, back and forth across the course of this race. They would both race into the top 10. Good drive from Jacopo Martinezzi as well. Had saved his new tyres for this superheat and used them to great effect on his way to 2nd place. Whilst we continue to enjoy these highlights, let's head down to Parc Ferme and to Anthony Jordan.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Yes, indeed, here with our race winner from that one. Back where you wanted to be compared to that last race you had yesterday, Kenzo. Back on pole position for that final. Great achievement this weekend. You must be feeling very confident for that last race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've maximised most of the results that we have from this weekend. Only an unfortunate last heat. But yeah, to be starting on pole is amazing.
It's going to be a challenging race, of course. The seniors have been pretty feisty out there so far today. You would have watched that first superheat. What did you make of that first superheat? You would have been probably watching the sidelines.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. Yeah, hopefully I'm away from that in the final.
Yeah, well, like you say, starting on the front row, any chance of maybe swapping sides, or are you confident that you'll be happy with either way?
I don't know yet.
We'll have to wait and see. Well, congratulations, Kenzo. Well done. Last final question, very important one. What are you having for lunch?
Pasta.
Good choice. I like it too. Right, Kenzo, we'll see you out there for that final. Well done.
Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Well, plenty of races yet to come. 2 finals to go. Andrew, what time are we expecting them to start?
Well, we expect them to start at 1 o'clock. Meanwhile, we've still got more highlights from that final race of this morning and early afternoon session. Fausto Arnado had a good scrap here with Sebastiano Pavan. Jensen Burnett getting involved as well in the 271. James Anagnostiadis had a tough time qualifying earlier on in the weekend, but has continued to pull himself back in. I reckon he's going to be through to the final. You never know from the back of the grid. Could still make it up into the points-paying positions at the end of the longest race of the weekend. This was him pulling through in the bright coloured helmet there and the Prema Racing colours. Bad moments for some of the Forzas. They were up and down like a jack-in-the-box at times in this race. Filippo Sala finding his way through past Jensen Burnett. Look at how many positions Burnett lost in that exchange. Good drive for Dean Pedersen as well in the 254. Needed to go forward, did go forward. Should have done enough to turn the tide and get back through into the top 36. This was Burnett coming back through on Peschel. Peschel, who did recover some points later on in the race, and we'll start on the third row of the grid for the final, all being well. But at the front of the grid will be Kenzo Craigie. 320 points for Craigie across the intermediate stages. 4 points his advantage over Pradir. That's all in the history books now, because we go to our finals. These are one-off races, big hauls of championship points in this penultimate round of the season. And it all starts at 1 o'clock for the final in OK Junior. 1:40 for the senior category. The OKs are out for their 25-lap final. We'll bring you all the build-up as well for those big races. And with both championship standings looking very, very close, the championships are not going to be decided today, but these could be pivotal races for a number of championship contenders before we head to Kristianstad later on in the year. Hope you've enjoyed the commentary this morning. My name's been Andrew Mather, he's been Anthony Jordan. We will see you just before 1 o'clock for all of the build-up here at Rødby for Round 4's finals in Champions of the Future.